Let's talk about mobile trace minerals and the miners, because I think those are another really important piece of the puzzle.
Mobile trace nutrients. Okay. Nickel, cobalt, those are mobile. Not very many people put on nickel, but the people that do, that have managed to figure out actually how to legally apply it in very small quantities and grains, are doing astronomically well. There's universities that have been picking it up just because it's been increasing the test weight of wheat by so much in very, very, very small amounts, very specific stages of growth. So cobalt is actually mobile as well, and the majority of it is found actually in the roots. So if you are testing for cobalt, that is one that I would highly suggest to, if you're going to do sap analysis specifically for cobalt. I would hate for you to think that you're getting such a small amount in the leaves. I would actually test the roots too, to have a better understanding of where your cobalt is going. So, but the majority are actually semi-mobile to non-mobile. It actually varies from crop to crop, but in a sap analysis, it's really looking at whether it is foliar applied or applied by the root. Those are really very, very important factors when you're reading a sap analysis on trace elements. Because if you apply to foliar, especially iron, manganese, those guys are going to stay where you put them. And so if you applied a foliar and then took a sap, I don't know, 3 weeks later, and you have some new leaves, you could have actually missed the whole entire foliar itself. And we do see that as where when people aren't taking sap close to a foliar 3 or 4 days, they actually miss the whole entire treatment. So they can get old leaf, which is very high. We'll say, 20 parts per million in the old leaf. And then the new leaf is like hardly 1 part per million. And they're like, what is going on? And I'd be like, did you foliar? And when did you do it? Did you do it weeks ago? So, but if the micronutrient is actually being brought up by the roots, many times those numbers are going to be a lot closer together, more balanced, because the plant is taking it up and it's either chelated or it's in a form that the plants have taken up through the roots and systematically distributed throughout the plant. So hopefully those numbers are a lot closer together. And then that's more of a true understanding of how much of that micronutrient made it up to the newer leaves. Or are you looking at a foliar?
So would you recommend then soil drenches versus foliar on some of these non-mobile trace?
Some people don't have the capability of a soil drench. So, I mean, if you've got some really interesting soil chemistry going on, really alkaline, you are really going to have a hard time taking up iron and manganese, and they're so needed in the plants. If you and those are going to have to be foliared. If you don't have some large hurdles, then I would love to see them applied by root. Many people do apply them and they don't see the type of uptake that they were thinking that they were going to see. So they can change to oxidative very fast. So understanding that, so just because you apply it doesn't mean it gets taken up into the plants. I see that quite readily.
And again, so it's chelated. If it's not chelated properly, it doesn't work. If it's too alkaline or too acid, it's not going to work. So there's a lot of other variables. And so hence the foliar kind of does make more sense as far as getting a bigger impact out of the gate, especially because like you said, a lot of these farmers don't have the ability to treat the soil.
But root applied is great if it's getting in 100%. I would just say a lot of people don't fall into that category. But that's the one I'm rooting for.
Oh,
I know.